Your locks are not going to lock in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months, in 5 months, or even in 6 months. Hi, welcome to Locs Talk. If you recently got locks or if you're planning on getting locks, this is everything you should expect in your lock journey, especially in the first year. I have been locked for 2 years, okay? 2 years. Some of my locks are still not fully locked. You can see that some of my ends still have the twist pattern in them, and that is completely fine. It's okay. In the first 6 months of your lock journey, your locks are starters. No matter what hair type that you have, or if you think that your hair is fully locked, it is not fully locked. In this phase, your hair is gonna shrink. Your hair is gonna get very frizzy. In this phase, some of your hair is gonna unravel, especially if you have 2 different hair types on your head. When it unravels, don't try to reinstall them again. So let's say you started with twists and the twists at the back unravel. Do not retwist them. In this stage, your hair is gonna get puffy and it's gonna be extremely frizzy. So from the next 6 months to when your hair finally gets to 9 months, your hair is gonna become even more frizzy than it was in the beginning. And this is where your hair starts to bud. This is where your hair starts to lock. In this phase, you need to retwist on time so that you can guide your hair or you can help your hair to actually form into the lock. When you finally hit the 1 year mark, that is when your hair is in the teenage phase. Shrinkage starts to reduce. Your locks will start to get a little bit heavy and they'll start to get a little bit thick. Your twist pattern, your braid pattern, or your coils start to disappear. You can physically see that your locks are forming. And it's in this stage that your hair will return to the length that it started with. So if you started with shoulder length hair, after a year is when you're gonna see your hair at shoulder length again. That is why I always tell people to start their lock journey with the hair that they have, especially if it's short, because if it's short, there's not much hair to shrink. All you will see is your hair growing. You're not gonna see your hair over here and shrinking up to your eyes like how I did, okay? I started with about like shoulder length hair and my hair literally shrank up to my eye length. Everyone knows that the end products of locks is literally dead hair that is stuck inside the lock. The reason we experience a lot of shrinkage is because there isn't any dead hair for it to weigh it down to make it heavy. Basically, the hair itself does not have any weight. But then once you're over 2 years locked, your hair starts to get a lot of weight because of the dead hair that's inside. So it stays down, doesn't shrink up as much. After the 1 year mark, from 15 months to 18 months, your locks are in the mature stage. And this is where most of your locks have matured. They have started dropping and there is little to no frizziness. There is literally almost no shrinkage at all. In this stage, your hair has started to mature, but then it's not fully matured. Like someone who has had their locks for like 5 years or 6 years, your locks are still in the process of maturing. After 24 months or 2 years, then your locks have reached the adult stage. My hair is literally at 2 years now. Because of the type of hair that I have or the texture of hair that I have, my hair has still not dropped fully and completely. For most people, the adult stage usually happens at 3 years locked, but for some people it happens at 2 years. In this stage, there is literally no shrinkage because there is a lot of dead hair that has accumulated over time. So the hair is completely shrinkage free and the hair drops completely. So it's in this stage where people usually go 6 months or even a year without retwisting their hair and their locks do not fall out. It's in this stage that your locks get extremely heavy. So if you don't get the correct amount of locks for your hair, your neck literally starts to hurt when you wash your hair. In this stage, your locks take its final shape. It becomes completely and fully locked. So in this stage, when you get to like 3 years locked, you need to be very careful of the stuff that you put in your hair, because if you put too much product or if you allow lint to get stuck in your hair, you literally can't take it out because your hair is completely and fully locked. I'm not saying that in the other stages you don't need to be careful, but then in this stage especially, you need to be very careful and take care of your hair, cover your hair, and be watchful of the products you put in your hair. Another thing to note is that your locks are not gonna look like they started. The size of your parts will determine the size of the locks that you end up with. So if you have small parts, you're gonna end up with small locks in the end. And if you have big parts, you're gonna end up with bigger locks in the end. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So that is basically it for everything you need to expect in your lock journey. If you have any questions that you need answers to, you can ask it in the comments, and I'm gonna make a separate video answering all the questions that you have asked and answering frequently asked questions about locks. Okay, that's it for Loc Talk. See you later. Bye.
initiating